Here's a moment that's also not bad. The minimum was reached, and whether these minimums were taken out in a combo with increased interest, after which we now see a pullback movement below. Look at the volumes here and there, so the meaning of it is not yet clear. According to the market profile, where we have the nearest liquidity, it is mostly concentrated above, meaning according to the movement profile, where is the nearest stop located now? Here is where essentially the seller should show themselves. Overall, the movement is trending downward. If the seller intends to continue moving down, we should see it from here. If the buyer wants to move higher, they need to pass this stop and consolidate above it. Only then can I consider entering for an upward move. Then the priority will be with the buyer. For now, from this stop, the priority remains with the seller. The area of interest is with the seller in this candle. We are approaching. For 3 minutes, the volume is decreasing, but there are fewer sellers and also fewer buyers. I will consider how the bear and downward move towards Jeep Way for 3 minutes down. It's a pity that the movement is already slightly lost, but it's not a big deal. If anything, I'll use a catch-up. Since it was available, it's permissible. Now, as I said earlier, for now, we have a downward movement, and until the nearest local point, the priority is with the seller. If the buyer passes this local point and consolidates beyond it, the priority is then transferred to the buyer. For now, I'm siding with the seller, meaning I'm entering from the local area on the strong side when the buyer loses strength. This doesn't mean that I should immediately see a drop. She suspected no, the buyers calmly, for some reason, are heading to this area, right? They will try to pass it. That is, again, the concentration of volume might be beyond the maximum, meaning theoretically removing this maximum. They could only then go down, but if there's not enough strength, we will already see a downward movement earlier. I don't need much, just a small movement. The only downside, in this situation, the zone of interest is still at the very top, and there is volume for further continuation of the movement. In principle, we are all waiting a little now. So there are 16 seconds left until the end of this deal. And for now, it doesn't matter to me whether it's a profit or a loss, but what do I want to say? All these 4 minutes, we are hovering around the opening point. That is, in 4 minutes, neither the buyer nor the seller managed to do anything. It turns out that the buyer came to the local area hoping to break through it and reverse this trend movement. But for 4 minutes, we are stuck in one place. So where is the buyer's strength, and with what force does he intend to pass through this area? I have questions. I already understand that the seller is holding it in this area even as it approaches, and a serious breakthrough cannot really be discussed here. The only thing is that this candle closed precisely on the buyer's victory with a very large number of ticks. So some small movement might continue. It might, but as I mentioned earlier, it might continue up to the point of removing this maximum. Therefore, for now, we use the first follow-up and wait further. With 10 minutes left until the end, it continues to move in the opposite direction, so some seller appears there, which is why I use 5 minutes here. Another follow-up for a decrease. For now, we wait. So this is basically what was supposed to happen. 10 seconds remain until the end of this deal, and guys, I want to recommend a very useful feature. It is located right here. You click here and set it up for yourself. Just recently it happened that I entered 2000 here, but the deal opened at 2000. Fortunately, it closed in profit for me. It was nerve-wracking, but to prevent this from happening, I set a limit for myself. And basically, I advise everyone to do this so that you don't accidentally open a deal 1.0 times larger than it should be. I return the amount back, and move on to finding the next situation.